Hi, everybody. Nice to be here finally. Half hour late today. Not my fault this time. It's Chris Rook's fault. My right-hand guy, our head of production. Totally his fault. Sitting here, he went late. He had some work to do. We do a bunch of other work for people. Our friends at Blue Door are doing a podcast. So we're sitting here waiting. No big deal because we want to conquer homelessness with our friends at Blue Door. So anyway, we're a little late. Do apologize, but we are here, and we've got a full slate of people to talk to, a bunch of stuff to get to today. So nice to see you. Please welcome to the program. Today we're going to mix it up a little bit and bring people from the network into the show that I trust a great deal, and I know will have fun with me. Well, at least I hope. Please welcome once again from the Let's Take This Outside podcast, Miss Marianne Iveson. Nice to see you, Marianne.
Hello, sir.
As always, MA on the air on Twitter is where you can find her. And Scott Scotty Mack from the Hot Wallet podcast.
What's up, guys? Good to see you, Diener. Nice to see you, Marianne.
What do you call that? Is that like a new studio? Or you? Is it a podcast studio? Is that where you do your trading? Are you at a rave? What do you have? What is that in your basement?
Is it a spaceship?
Yeah. So I built a new computer over the Christmas break, and this is it. And everything is lit up. And here's the problem, Dean. I ran my system with two laptops and multiple screens for a while. And then, someone was complaining that my grammar was shit. And so I'm like, I'm going to fix that. I'll download Grammarly. Yeah. And it slowed my computer right down. And it got to the point where I couldn't even type, but at least my commas were in the right place. And then I was like, okay, I guess I should just, pony up for a new computer. And so I ended up building a fucking beast back here, which is awesome. I can do it all from one computer now. And, it's a nice little light show as I sit down here in my cold, dark basement.
We need one of those warnings, though, of like if you have seizures that we stuff. You definitely can't watch
before the show. Every time Scott's on, if you have epilepsy, heads up.
Yeah,
good idea.
Yeah, if you got epilepsy, heads up. Scotty Trades is on, and he's got our rave studio going in the background.
I just took E actually.
Same with me. I just took E and I dumped a handful of shrooms. Let's have some fun. What is with all the colors? Like, when did that start? Like, I know my son, he's got the PC and he does all the weird shit, the weird gaming and all the coding and all that stuff. So, but he's like, no, I don't like the colors. I like when you build your own computer. And how old are you? Like 45-ish, 40?
40.
You're in there. You're 40 years old. Well, fuck, dude. I don't know.
Come on,
get all stuck crazy with me.
Yeah, I'm 40 years old.
Swiping you. 40 years old. Do you think that you should be doing like a Twitch streamer 12-year-old basement look for your financial podcast studio?
Maybe not, but it does. I don't know. Like I said, it does kind of jazz it up. I got my kids' artwork back here. I got rainbows. My daughter loves rainbows, as you can see back there.
Yeah.
And
I did.
It's more or less
I'm
for
not
them.
Shitting on the artwork. I'm not shitting. I'm just saying.
Actually, he was. He was. Yeah. He was like, that artwork is shit.
What do you got against my kids' artwork? Let's just start the
same
show
thing
right
I have
there,
against
Dean.
every kid's artwork, Scott. And let's just deal with this right now before you accuse me of making fun of your work. Every child's artwork is shit. All of them. Same with the Christmas concerts. They're terrible. Like you can't lie to me. How many times, and tell the truth, how many times have you had to smoke a bowl before you went into your kids' Christmas concert? How many times?
Well, my kids haven't been in school that long, and so they've all been online. And
how many times have you gone to a Christmas concert and before you got there, you're like, I fucking can't wait to sweat this out for 2 hours to see my kid do one thing. This is going to be great. How many times?
Like zero. Yeah.
Exactly. It sucks. It's the school plays. Like every time you go to your kid's school play, you're like, this is terrible, but I love the fact my kid's swinging for the fences and thinks he's a movie star. He's like 7, right? And you go there and you watch your one kid and you're like, this is great. Watch my one kid that does something for 3 minutes, but it's a 2.5 hour program with snacks before and after in the gymnasium. And you're like, I don't need all 2.5 hours. I just needed the 7 minutes for my kid to do Kumbaya or whatever the fuck it was in the middle of the play. Right. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying about the artwork too. The artwork is, it's like so nice to get the kids' artwork and you keep it. And then you go back and you're like, I can't believe this was the quality of their work at 9.
It's better than mine. I can tell you that much. My daughter is a much better artist now at 7 than I was at 7. And my son, he's I don't want to say he's better than I was, but he definitely has his own creative ability. But yeah, I don't know about the colors. Like, yeah, it's a little flashy and rainbowy, but I don't know. I just got it, so it's still fun for me.
Well, no, you keep. Yeah, go ahead, Marianne.
Scott, you sent me a photo earlier of your son's drawing. I don't know if Dean has it or not.
Yeah, the Canadian shield.
Yeah, you sent me. You sent me, and I love. So first of all, I want to say I loved it because it's very naturey. It's labeled very well. It's but there's something like very specific about it that when you first look at it, you're like, whoa.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I don't.
Yeah, you didn't see that,
Dean? Do you have it?
I do. And is this a school project before we show?
Yeah,
people
what is this?
It is, yeah.
Now I feel like a fucking asshole for making fun of kids' artwork. I didn't know we were doing this today. I thought we were.
We're hijacking the show, Dean.
This is what happens when you bring on two from broadcasting personalities. We actually took over the whole show.
I'm glad you did. I really am. But like, okay, so everything I said prior to showing people this picture of your kid's artwork is a lie. Okay, just so you know.
All right.
I thought it was a great segue, to be totally honest.
I can bring down some of the rainbows here so you can get better detail if you want to see it as well.
I just thought it was a great segue into talking about his son's
Look at this, man.
I did too, but I didn't.
This is Daddy Love.
Yeah.
And this is me in a hospital bed because I was getting my appendix out, and my daughter was sad. Drew a picture about it. Drew me around a rainbow and put my wife and my daughter in the picture, and my son is not in the picture because he farted in her room, and she didn't want to include him in the picture because of that. True story. That's why I have it up.
Okay, can I see the rainbow for a second? Hold on a second. What? So as the rainbow goes, red, orange, blue, purple, blue, purple. Right? That's how the rainbow goes.
It's all the crayons.
That's how it works, Marianne. I don't know if you've seen a rainbow in Ottawa.
So we're just fighting over. Is Dean drinking that he's already so upset with us?
No, I know. I've just got a mango little squeezer here. No big deal.
Nice.
Here's the artwork. This is your kid. This is your son. How old is your son?
He is 9.
This is his artwork, and this is the Canadian shield.
That's right. He's submitting this to his teacher today.
Right on.
So we got the Canadian shield. You can see it right there at the top. And then we Googled, because let's be honest, he's not very artistic. He actually hates art and being creative. He's great at video games, but in terms of like, hey, you should color a picture, he gets anxiety about it. Sure. And so Canadian shield at the top. And so I was helping him, and I said, Declan, what's in the Canadian shield? He's like, I don't know. And then I said, well, let's Google Canadian shield. And I said, oh, so there's trees, and there's bears, and there's rivers, and there's lakes, and there's also gold mines in the Canadian shield.
Yes.
And so he put all of those in one picture. And you can see there's someone there taking a picture of a bear. There's so many plants. He was so proud of his trees. There's 2,000 lakes.
Quick question. Now, listen, I think this is beautiful because this came from your son. But and I don't even know if you can ask him this, but I was unaware that the Canadian shield had balls.
That
looked a lot like an uncircumcised dick. That's okay. So
I think that's superior.
It's massive. It's blue. The ratio is not good.
No.
The ratio is alarming, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, and the thing at the top, that's a bridge, by the way. I forgot to point that out.
Not the tip? No.
So, first of all, I knew it was a bridge.
Hang on. Hey. And the tip itself looks like it's covered in blue, so it looks like an uncircumcised Canadian shield. That's what it looks like.
There's a bit of a flood going on. You can see how it's just kind of blowing out the top there.
Yeah, we see
flowing all over.
As a nature lover, I want to point out how much I love this artwork. Yeah. Right, we have a Canadian shield. Wow, is that gold? That's a great quote.
Awesome.
So much wildlife. It looks like a bear and another little bear. I don't know what's to the left of the bear. what does it say? The what over
so
2,000?
much
There's
wildlife.
there's over 2,000 lakes, so many plants. There's over 50 types of trees. Honestly, this is like chef's kiss artwork masterpiece, in my opinion. As a nature lover, I would hang this.
I would too. And Michelle Deckerby in the comments section, she notes, quote, "That's some girth. You need a bridge for sure." Lazy Sundays with Wade. Lake Superior, quote, has blue balls. Quote, Ellen Humphrey wants you to show everybody this at his wedding when he gets married and everyone else is dying. Your son is beautiful. That is tremendous artwork. And you know what? It gets an A with the Blundell
Thank
Show.
you.
An absolute A+ right there. For two reasons. One is that's a dick and balls. Two, that's the Canadian Shield. So everybody here wins. Dad wins. Dad's friends win. Dad's podcast friends win. And of course, his grades win because of the effort that goes into this. Good for Declan.
I have a question.
So yeah, and he has such anxiety about it, Dean. Like he gets nervous about like, oh, I got to create something and I don't want to be wrong. And I'm like, brother, there's no wrong in art. Like you just create. And so, I appreciate his work there.
Can I ask that
hair to the Great Lakes, by the way? You should have added some pubic hair to the Great Lakes and more of a hood to the tip of the bridge. But anyway, sorry, Marianne, didn't mean to interrupt.
Do boys, especially little boys, have like a fascination with their do they just like subconsciously like just put it in artwork? Is that a thing that happens? Like are little boys just like obsessed with their own?
Look at Scott.
I'm just thinking about these times where I see him and he's playing video games or watching TV and he's got his hand in his pants and I'm always like, "Come on, man!" He's like, "What?" I'm like, "You know what?" And I didn't even notice. And so, Marianne, I actually think there's a lot of truth to what you're saying because it just is like it's a thing and it's right there.
Yeah,
and
we're familiar with it.
Yeah,
we're familiar with that area of the anatomy. And what happens is, I think, with boys, it's this collegial connective tissue, right? Wiener jokes, wiener pictures, balls, triumphant cock shots that you draw on your binder in like the 11th and 12th grade. I don't know if you've ever seen the show Superbad, the movie, Jonah Hill, Michael Cera, and McLovin. Can't remember the name of that wiener kid. Doesn't matter. But like, it was the start of the movie where it's like, when I was in like the 9th, 10th grade, it's all I did. I just drew these triumphant large wieners and it was like, and I'm like, yeah, I've done that. And I think you're lying if you said penis art wasn't like a staple for you from the second you were able to like correctly draw that part of the anatomy and getting creative with it, like putting it on a bicycle, maybe in a sketch drawing, or having it have hands waving at people on the way by. I mean, everybody's done it, right? In our artwork. At least maybe I might be the odd man out here, Scott, and your silence isn't helping me. But yeah, I've drawn a lot of cocks and not known I've drawn cocks for sure, right?
Well, here's the thing. He doesn't like, I did not say anything about it. And my wife, when she saw it this morning, did not say anything about it. She just looked at me with these open eyes and was like, And so, like everyone is like, oh, look, he's trying to draw a thing. He doesn't think that. He thinks this is a river, this is a lake, and, whatever. That's his mindset. And so it's not like he's doing it on purpose. So I want to make that clear to everyone that like, this is not like him trying to make a statement or trying to do, what Dean's talking about. This is like just pure creative art, and it just happens to look like,
yeah, we know. We've
been
talking about it for like 20 minutes.
I think I think you did a great job. People. Bridge looks good.
You know what?
A+
Bridge. Love the bear. Wow, is that gold? I mean, yeah, he's got it all.
Wow.
Wow, is that gold? You tell that kid to keep swinging for the fences. And you know what? I might want to keep an eye on the shapes that he's drawing.
I will from now on. Here's the thing. Like I was supposed to help him with his rough draft. And I was like, yeah, I'll help you with your rough draft. Sure. And so I sat there for a bit and then I got really kind of bored actually. Cause I'm not someone who likes to color. And so I was like, all right, buddy, well, keep going. I got dinner to cook. And so I kind of left him to his own devices. So maybe we can all track it down to bad parenting.
No, it's not. But it's the same. Like, that's the other thing when you have kids. When they ask you for help with your homework, you're like, I have PTSD from doing 12 years of it in like my school grade. So when someone's like, "Hey, can you help me study?" I'm like, "No." I'm like, "I'm not helping you study." And the other part is when they get to a certain grade, for me, it was like the third or fourth out of my math league. Can you help me do this? Like, no, dude, I can't. I physically can't help you do that homework. But for whatever reason, when my kids are like, "Can you help me with homework?" I'm like, you know what? Could you pull out my fingernails instead? I'd rather do that. Right. And I don't know
There
why.
is a level of that for sure. Like, and you know, maybe it's because I'm his dad, but I find you know, at times there can be a little conflict where I'm trying to help him and be like, well, this is how you do this. Well, no, that's not what I learned about. That's not how I learned how to do it. And then there's a conflict. And so just generally, I don't love when the teacher sends home any sort of homework unless it's just, you know, art based where it's kind of free form.
Yeah. No, that's words to live by. Your kids, whatever they create. And Scott, you touched on it. And I will say this. The one thing you can do with everything that they do is never judge any of it and tell them it sucks or tell them it's no good. What you do is you tell them everything they do is a gift that you get to give yourself, not everybody else. And whatever feedback you get doesn't matter. And that artwork is incredible because it came from him and he did a great job. And we as adults can look at that and go, balls. But doesn't matter. What matters is the fact that we shut up around that kid and we give him our full confidence. And you tell that young man that is absolutely brilliant. A plus plus plus. Okay.
Definitely.
Can you do that for me?
I will. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Really appreciate it.
Sorry to hijack the show with that a little bit.
No, that was good. My fault. I'm the one who took it off the rails and said we need to see this picture.
Yeah, you really did. Before we get to the Justin Trudeau videos, I know you guys have been watching him walk around Hamilton. There's some fucking crazy videos. They're being bussed down. It's a long story. We'll get to it. Same thing. It's all the protests, and it's just like on steroid. Doesn't even matter. I want to talk about Kate Hudson because I've never talked about Kate Hudson before. And Scott sent this to me this morning, and I thought it was fascinating. And because we have a very strong female presence on this program, Marianne Iveson from the Let's Take This Outside podcast. And I know you wear leggings. The story's about leggings. I'm not engineering this towards you because you're female. Okay. It's not a token female subject.
It's also very relatable to me at this moment. Yeah.
Okay. I want to ask you about this because the story popped up. Scotty sent it to me. Kate Hudson's activewear ripped over leggings that expose bare ass. Now, these are leggings for companies called Fabletics. It's a 10-year-old company. It's multi-million-dollar company. Like Lululemon, only the price point's a little cheaper and she's the spokesperson. I guess. I don't know. I don't have these. But people are very upset because they say it's disgusting and wrong for her to be selling these leggings. And to the point, Kate's Hudson being slammed. Say it spotlights an ass. And this is the name of the actual Fabletics thing that she's selling. Spotlight shaping ass out capris. The porous pants were released by Fabletics, an activewear company co-founded by Kate Hudson. However, since they started going viral in October after superstar flutist, I can't believe I read this stuff and it's real. Superstar flutist, who founded the body positivity promoting branch of the brand Yitty.
Lizzo, you're talking about Lizzo, right?
Lizzo posted a divisive Instagram video of herself dancing while she rocked those spotlight shaping ass out capris. Now, these are the capri pants. This is Lizzo in them. And no one's going to say anything negative because we're all human beings here. But this is what drew the ire of baby's got back. There you go. No big deal. Big booty energy, as I say. People are pissed because they think they're gross. And I happen to think that they're fucking weird. Anyone wearing these? Is the outrage crazy? Is this even a fucking thing, Marianne? Like,
you know what I thought? Okay, you know what I thought about when you can bring them up again. You know what I thought about when you first brought them up. So, you know, today I'm in kettlebell class and we're doing some like deadlifts. So that's when you bend over. All I can think about is like showing every crevice in like, I don't want to show anyone my
leather Cheerio.
All of
taint.
That's too much to show. No, I don't like the point. The whole point of like leggings, I think, for females is so we feel comfortable in, so we feel I just don't wear leggings to feel sexy. I feel like leggings to feel comfortable and that I can work out in, not to be exposing my ass. And like, I'm not judging these women, like you wear whatever you want to wear. But for me, leggings are full coverage. Leggings are to hide any kind of, for me, imperfections, not not to expose my bum in that way.
Okay, so but is there a real world application for this? Like, where the fuck are you wearing these? You're not
There's
wearing. You
no-
just pointed out that you're not wearing them at the gym because people are going to
To
see
an
your-
orgy?
Lizzo's getting on an airplane. Like, do you want to sit on an airplane seat when someone else had
There's
those
no
pants
real.
on?
Oh, no, there's no real world application for these. There's no.
It looks like they'd be uncomfortable. Like, I'm just trying to think of the engineering behind this. It just looks too uncomfortable. Like
my thighs
turd
would
cutter
chafe.
looks like a real turd cutter. Like it looks like it would hurt your bunghole.
Like I feel like my thighs would chafe. Like the whole point of them is to be comfortable, not to feel like my butt is gonna like just be everywhere. But you know what's funny is I just ordered some new leggings. I put them on and ripped them open, and I'm like, oh, I guess this is the look now. There it is.
That's the look. There they are. That's
yeah.
it.
My thunder thighs just like ripped them right open in the most. Yeah.
Wow.
So I should keep them, right? If this is the look.
It's the new
So
look.
in style now. Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's the thing.
You're ahead of it. You don't even have to pay the money for the brand name Kate Hudson ones now.
No, these are like $30, and I just
What is
them
the?
open.
Let me ask you something. Let's
Yes,
just.
sir.
Okay. Sure. Fashion ridiculous. It's no
And that's
real world
stupid.
application.
It's
not
dumb.
working. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. And
Yeah,
thanks,
I'll
Scott,
agree.
for sending it because we got a chance to have a look at some ass. Thanks, bud. Anyway.
Okay.
Well, dude, we're red blood-butted Canadian males. It's not like someone's gonna send this to you. You're gonna hey, open this up. No man is gonna go. No, I don't think so. No, I don't think I'm opening that up. I don't. That's just gonna take me astray. No, we're gonna look and go. What do we got here?
Okay.
We are. I'm just.
I
telling
take
you the
no
truth.
credit.
Fuck you. You sent it to me, Scott. What are leggings?
What's your question?
What do leggings do for women? I still don't like. I know 20 years ago, obviously, I've been wearing the fucking Lululemons, all that stuff. But what do leggings do for women? I don't understand. Like, I know they're shapely. I know the Lululemons made every woman's ass look like, a 2 out of 10 made it look like a 6 out of 10, a 6 out of 10 ass. The Lululemons made it look like a 10 out of 10 ass. But what is the purpose of leggings? Like, why are women so attracted to them? What's the deal?
2 syllables. Comfort. That's it. Comfort.
So tight. Really?
They're they're like I'm wearing like very old Lululemon ones right now, and they've lasted me for a really long time. But they're high-waisted, they like suck everything in. They're very, very comfortable. They look good with like a lot of outfits. They make your butt look good. Those are the reasons. Comfort is absolutely number one because how uncomfortable jeans are. Like, I know you guys wear jeans, but like I hate I think I've maybe worn jeans maybe 5 times in the last 2 years. Like, I wear leggings most of the time, or like some kind of material in that. And like, and I'm always outside or doing something and moving. Like, it's just way more comfortable. I would say comfort is the number one thing. Scott, your wife would probably say the same thing, I would think.
Yeah, definitely. She has some, the Lulus that she wears and whatever, but I like Lulu pants as well. Dean, have you tried the men's
the
Lulu
guys.
pants? They are actually the most comfortable pants you'll ever own. I mean, they're a bit expensive. Dude,
I only wear jeans.
I'm telling you,
try
them on.
Never. Are they tight? Are they tight?
No.
Like
No, they're
loose?
not tight. They're loose and stretchy. And
they
like
assless?
great for traveling. Sometimes you kind of get like a little sweaty if you're on an airplane or whatever. And you're just like, I'm uncomfortable. These are pants you can sit in all day and you're just good to go. Not great for winter because they do have that airflow. But for men, you got to try the Lululemon pants.
I will. I'll try them. Happy to.
They're called ABC pants. Anti-ball crushing is what the ABC stands for.
Are they like 140? What are they, $140?
Yeah, 140, $150, something like that, but worth every penny.
All right, I'll check them out. You know what else is worth every penny? Divorce. I'm glad you brought it up. Thanks, Scott.
Is it worth every penny?
Oh, yeah.
Is it?
And it was expensive. But I saw this today because we were talking about this in some of our prep meetings, and I wanted to bring this up. A couple that's having a divorce party. This is the invitation. They tied the knot, gave it their best shot, but Tim and Lori are getting divorced. March 4th, 2023. Come celebrate the end of a bad marriage and the return of a good friendship. Plus, ones are welcome. Ours will be there. So, good idea, bad idea. Is this something you'd go to if your friends are like, come on, celebrate our divorce with us? Yes or no? Marianne, we'll start with you.
I would 100% go. I would 100% go. I want to see the drama. But I'd like to think if someone's having a party together, they're just like, they just didn't work out. They still get along really well and they just want to have a party and let's like, I think that was probably the scenario, right? It's probably pretty cordial, but I would also want to be there if it was not cordial, because I would love, I want to see the drama.
I can't believe you would go to that. I would never go to that.
I love other people being awkward. I love it when everyone else is awkward in the room. It's great.
Especially if I had gone to their wedding. You know, I would like, okay, guys, like I bought you a gift.
I was just going to ask, I'm not bringing you a gift. I'm not bringing you a divorce gift. Absolutely not. No chance. There's no gifts, right?
No. Is there a registry? I don't know. I don't know if there's a gift. I find this to be odd. I find this to be fun. I find it like, it's one of those things where you're like, oh my God, you know, there's so much animosity. And as someone who's gotten a divorce, if we threw a party, people would have been murdered. Families would have killed each other, all that stuff. So that never would have happened, which is why this shocks me, because I think, my God, are there people that actually break up in marriages that look at each other and go, you know what? I want the best for you, and it's not me. And the other person's like, you know what? I totally agree. And I want the best for you, and it's not me. Let's have a party, tell people we're not going to be together, and let's support each other and go forward. That sounds crazy to me.
I think that happens though. And I think that 100% happens. That's what I think adults do. I think
have you heard
I don't think they do.
No, I don't think they do. Have you heard of one of those? That's my point, is like, you're like, oh, that's totally normal. Name me a couple where you've gone, oh, they had a great divorce. That was they were really cool about it. They still support each other. Everything's good.
But I'm still only 34. A lot of my friends are still on their first marriages, right? So
not for long. Between 35 and 40 is when they all go, that's fact.
So ask me again in like 5 years if it's the same. But I'd like to think that people can still be cordial about it. No?
Never
like
seen one.
Do it for the kids.
If you have kids, you kind of have to have a certain friendship. You know, if you have kids together, you got to have like, okay, let's like be civil and not murder each other. But, to a lot of the people in the comments here, I'm with you. I've never seen an amicable divorce where they're like buddy hanging out. Yeah, let's have a party together. And I hope that our significant others become friends.
I'm looking at no party, but amicable divorce here.
Really? Wow.
She was no longer in love with him.
Never heard of an amicable divorce. So said, see, dude, I'm just reading the comments, and when you ended on, there are people that go their separate ways amicably. That's a lie. I've never seen it once. I've never ever seen it.
I'm ignorant about it.
Crystal's like, some people don't get to the point where people wanting to murder each other before breaking up. Some people, like, I don't want to murder anybody. That wasn't the point. No, but like, because what happens is usually one person's like, fuck, I'm happy to be out. And the other person's like, you ruined my life dream. All my expectations are in the toilet. I was supposed to grow old with you. And you're like, no, I don't think that's how life works. Two people were supposed to work on something. Clearly it didn't work. Someone leaves and you're all butthurt about the whole thing. I have yet to run into a couple that is amicably divorced to the point where they're like, you know what? Let's help each other. Don't worry about it. You stepped out on me. I stepped out on you. You took all the money. I gave you the house. No big deal, right? You took all the fucking air miles. I took all the this. I caught you in bed with Pablo. But you know what? Let's help each other.
Yeah, bring Pablo to the party.
You know what? He's your plus one.
I've never, I've been in long-term relationships, but I haven't gone that deep with someone to be that entangled that I'd be so angry about that, right? Or that emotionally invested that I'd be that, because that's a lot of emotions, right? That's a lot of like very hurt emotions. So I could see that. Yeah.
Ray says, my divorce cost me $50,000. No way there was going to be a party.
That's as much as a wedding.
I heard of one. This is Blaine Holzer. I've heard of one, but I've never seen one, so I'm dubious. There you go, Wayne. That's my point. Is like when you see these people that are throwing parties and amicably, it's almost like I want to go up to Tim and Lori and say, hey guys, how did you do this? What's going on? How did you get into the mindset where you're like, that guy doesn't like me, she doesn't like me, we don't like each other, we're going to go our separate ways and we're going to have a party, or we're going to tell everybody it's okay. Like, I don't have that gear. I don't know anybody who does. Mm-hmm. When I got out of my divorce, it was like, let me burn every record of this experience in my life and never talk about it again. Right?
Yeah.
Let's just get the fuck out, restart. Don't worry about it. And I've always been like that. So this thing is very fucking foreign to me, Scott. It just is. Sorry.
Especially after so many years together. Like if you spent a decade of your life with someone and somehow you're like good to go after, that to me is a strange situation, because even if you watch The Bachelor, some of these people on The Bachelor, they meet The Bachelor for 5 seconds, and then at the end of the show, they're bawling their eyes out because they had pictured their life with this person, and I can't believe he doesn't want me. And they're not friends after, and they've known each other for 5 minutes. I can't imagine someone who's been together for 10 years plus to be like, yeah, I know I caught you with the neighbor, but let's have a celebration now as we part ways.
Yeah, exactly. Right. You know what? I just found out you're cheating on me. I've been thinking of cheating on you. Let's have a party. Let's just have a party. You bring whoever you're cheating on me with and stuff like that. It's
do they bring other partners to the same party?
That's what they were saying. Plus ones are welcome because they were bringing their own plus ones at the same time at the bottom. It's like plus ones are welcome. Ours will be there. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But at the bottom, it does say return of a good friendship. And so that to me means like at one point things weren't that great, and then they decided to come back together. And so maybe there was some sort of makeup after.
We need to find Lori and what's his name? Bill? Lori
and Tim.
Tim.
We need to find Tim and Lori. I don't know who these people are, but if you can find me Tim and Lori, I want to talk to them. And they're plus ones. Find out who stepped out on who gave who VD.
Maybe they do like a group thing. Maybe that's why it's working.
Polyamory, you mean?
Yeah, maybe.
Is that what you're saying? Oh.
Yeah.
Well, it's not a bad thing.
It's a thing now.
Yeah. Speaking of things I don't understand, Scott Trades. It's your handle on Twitter, right? Scott Trades.
That's right. Yeah.
Hot Wallet podcast. Your name of the podcast is Hot Wallet, right?
Mm-hmm.
Great financial.
It's been a little cold. I haven't done a podcast in about a month. But
don't worry, I know.
Isn't consistency key?
Yeah, super key.
Okay.
Yeah. Here at the Crier Media Network, crier.co, you can pick up the Hot Wallet podcast. It's stock market mentoring. It's talking about crypto. It's talking about financial advice, CPI, that kind of stuff. And I want to get to that because I think we're going to hit a recession and probably tomorrow, maybe the next day. Who knows? Maybe we're in one already and they're lying to us. Doesn't matter. But I want to talk about Elon Musk for a second because he's currently in San Francisco. You've been following this cat around. Currently in San Francisco, big trial. And it stems from last year when he's like, fuck y'all. I'm taking Tesla private at $420 a share because it's $420.
Oh, this wasn't last year, Dean. This was a few years ago.
Sorry, 4 years ago? Is that correct?
I think, I want to say 2018, something like that.
Okay, let's settle the difference. Say three, a few, several, a couple of years ago. Said he had a deal with the Saudis to take this thing private, did not. He's now in the middle of a trial in San Francisco, and he is getting absolutely bludgeoned with his own words. Said Saudis were going to fund him. That was a lie. This is now an insider trading thing and a stock manipulation thing. And Tesla stock is taking it in the mouth. Again, no big deal. And their earnings come tonight. Now, I want to talk about that, and then I want to get to the hype machine a little bit because I'm starting to get the feeling that this is more hype machine than substance, even though we do have self-driving cars that he's produced. But your thoughts on, Elon Musk today, the trial, and where you think this is at in terms of unmasking probably the world's biggest douchebag.
So, I mean, I remember the tweet of 420 funding secured. And my understanding of that tweet was that at the time he was with Grimes and had just learned about what 420 meant or something like that. And then thought it would be really funny to tweet out considering taking Tesla private, 420 at 420 funding secured. And I remember the stock just ripping because anytime there's a chance of a buyout, like Microsoft is trying to buy Activision right now, and there's a case going on about that for antitrust. But when that news came out, they usually attach a price to the deal. Okay, Microsoft wants to buy out Activision at, let's say, $80 a share. And so if the stock is at $60, a lot of times it will zip up close to that price. And so that's kind of what happened with Tesla stock, where for a while, it was really volatile, just kind of chopping around. And then he tweets this out and, up goes the stock. And so that's kind of the stock manipulation that people are talking about. And so, I did see him kind of make a comment today. There were some reporters that were talking to him outside the court case. He was very tight-lipped about that. He actually just said, I don't want to talk about it. I can't talk about it. You guys tell me what you think. And of course, these were TMZ reporters who actually don't know what's going on. They're just told to cover Elon. And so they didn't really say anything. But, Tesla is reporting their earnings. I have the stock up here on the chart. And as it looks right now, it's just passing through the $147 range. So in the past, let's say in the past month, since the beginning of January, Tesla stock is up about 45% from the low. It hit a low of around $100. I don't know if you remember, Dean, when I was on here before, I talked about how the guy I work with, Dan Fitzpatrick, was looking for that $100 handle on Tesla as a potential bottom. And so that's a real strong psychological support level right now. And now, I don't know what's happening with earnings. I haven't seen the report or anything, but it is acting positively after the earnings report. Of course, that can change. Microsoft announced earnings yesterday. Stock ripped up first thing, and then the conference call came on, and they guided the stock lower, guided the company lower, said, look, growth is going to slow over the next little while. And Microsoft basically took down the whole market last night, and then into today, we got a little bit of a recovery. So that's kind of where we're at in terms of the stock price. It does look like it's, coming off the low, but this could just be a little bit of a rebound. Again, I don't know if you can see on the screen here, this kind of V recovery here of where the stock has been in the past month. So it has been a good trade for the short term. Long-term holders probably have a different kind of time frame on it, but from a short-term perspective, it has been a real winner.
So you're dealing with... Sorry, go ahead, Marianne. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, should I buy a Tesla now?
Should you buy the car now? Well, actually, that's another thing that is interesting about Tesla is, as you know, they lowered the price. And so Teslas are in stock and the prices are lower. And I was talking to the guy I work with, Dan Fitzpatrick, and he is buying Tesla Model X. And a few months ago, he had talked about, my wife wants to buy one of these Teslas. And so they went into the store and, they said, okay, yeah, we'll get you one in a couple of months. And then they kind of walked away from it. And then they went a few weeks later, as soon as this price thing came down. And he said, Dean, that the place was packed. It was packed with people. You couldn't even get coffee, and you couldn't even get a person to help you buy a car because so many people were trying to buy a Tesla as the price had come down. So I'll be interested to see what it does to their numbers. Just because anyone who had been waiting to buy a Tesla Model Y or something, despite Elon's actions,
but didn't that piss off like a whole bunch of people that just bought Teslas? Like I was looking at, and I know it's China and these videos that are coming out of the East of people that bought Teslas like a month ago, and they dropped the price like by a third in some countries where they're like just trying to get rid of stock because you're seeing Teslas pile up all over the place for a multitude of different reasons. They produced too many cars. They lied about how many people were ordering vehicles, and they wanted to show that they had these many cars off the production line, and then lied about how many they sold. It just seems like all these lies continue to catch up with him. What is on a regular basis now, and it's funny because everybody's starting to talk about that, about how the hype machine around him is dying. William Dyer wrote a great piece on how the Optimus robot came on stage with some assistance, but they didn't include that in the video. And it was a major problem, and it is nowhere near this humanoid robot, nowhere near ready for it. But they're like, no, it's going to be ready in a few weeks. So they outed that as a lie. And then now we're writing stories. Dana Hall did a great story a while back on Bloomberg, and Elon Musk's Tesla hype machine breaking down. Now, isn't that kind of the running narrative on him now that, hang on, he might be smart. He might have kettled a couple of companies and turned into an industry, and he might have had the help of a few people, and he did dream big in certain industries. But it isn't that and which is incredible in itself, but the lies he tells to put them over the top. on a regular basis or to keep stock prices up. He has continued to operate with impunity and lie his dick off about functionality when it comes to Twitter, about the ability that SpaceX has. But generally speaking, it's all around Tesla. And it just makes more sense to me as to why he bought Twitter. He put out a tweet the other day. He's like, car companies are running towards Twitter to advertise. And then he listed how many impressions each car company has gotten paid for. And and Tesla was 275 million impressions that month. And the next closest was 1 million. And it was like GM or Toyota. I can't even remember what it was. And I'm like, isn't this all the ruse? Like, isn't this all the game that he's been playing? Going private 420. Twitter's the best fucking thing for free speech. These cars are flying off. There's like, I'm taking. Isn't that what we're talking about now? Aren't these lies that he's continually told about incredible work that he's done nonetheless? But the lies that he's told to fill his pockets, aren't they just coming due? Aren't we just?
Well, I think the way he started Tesla, if you remember watching that documentary of how he started the company, he basically took a electric engine and put it into a Lotus, and then said, "Hey, look, I've created an electric car." And and one of the things that kept the company afloat was him taking that same engine, putting it in a smart car, and then selling it to Daimler Chrysler, essentially. And so, there has always been a bit of a hype element to Elon. Generally, I think that's just kind of how he does business. He loves communicating with the public. I think he actually enjoys being a public figure. And so he, tends to use his influence for, good or bad reasons. But usually it's something to do with whatever he's doing at the time. So I understand what you're saying. I can't speak to them faking numbers or anything like that. A lot of that usually comes out in the reporting, which, again, they'll have to put out in the market today. But I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a little bit of a slap on the wrist with this SEC court case or whatever, pays a little bit of a fine, and then, has to have certain rules about whether or not he can tweet about stock prices.
Well, he has that now, dude. Like, he actually has someone babysitting his tweets from the SEC. Did you know that? Like, he's got a handler that's like, before you tweet about public money, stock prices, anything to do with your businesses that are publicly traded, you have to run it by me first. That was a condition for him to remain on the seat of a publicly traded company, which was Tesla, right? So he's doing it again. Now he's under, and I don't know what he's been like. These are investors in Tesla that are still investors in Tesla that are suing him. That's what this is, because he fucked over a lot of people when he put out that tweet that was like, funding secured. I think here it is, if I'm not mistaken. 2018, August 7th. You're right. That was 5 years ago. Holy fuck. I'm considering taking Tesla private at 420, funding secured. I mean, in court over the past 3 days, they're like, can you show us where you secured the funding? He's like, no, just trust me. He's like, well, what's it? Who'd you get it from? Saudis. Which bank?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. He lied. And he lied about the stock price, and he lied about taking it private, and he lies about Twitter. Everything he does is a lie. So when you say, are you going to buy a Tesla, to your point, Marianne, I'm like, not a fucking chance. What else did you lie about in that car? You know how many videos I see of people like going, oh, my autopilot didn't work, and videos of cars.
It's on fire. They're all on fire.
They're all on fire, crashing into semis. But that's closer to the narrative, right? That these cars aren't perfect. Like he's been telling everybody they're perfect, right? Or these robots he's building are ready when they're not even close to ready. Or Twitter is a free speech app when we all know that's not the case, right? You know what I mean?
Well, we even saw that with the Cybertruck, like they released the Cybertruck and they threw a metal ball at the window and it broke when it wasn't supposed to. And so I think, again, that just is classic Elon, in my opinion. I think it's classic Elon. He, like I said, my understanding is that he was with Grimes, thought the 420 thing was hilarious, and then thought, oh, well, fuck it. I'm just going to tweet this out, of the story. Not that they're Saudis, I'm sure in his defense, he's saying, these were all conversations that we were having, but there's no paper trail.
Yeah, but that's just so you know, even if he was high with Grimes in his basement somewhere, smoking pot, doing that tweet, it's still illegal. Like, that's the thing. Like, he could be in a lot, not just fines, dude. Like they're talking about zeroing parts of his companies. They're talking about the government saying, you know what? We really like SpaceX. You just fast forward our progress like 60 years and 5 to 10 years. We'll be taking that from you as well. I mean, there he stands a real chance to lose here. And I'm wondering when we're going to start having that conversation, which is the ultimate.
I would be surprised if that happened. I think that they would, again, I feel like it would be a fine, right? Like they would slap a fine on him, be like, well, there you go. Don't do that again, but we'll take $1 billion, which would be a drop in the bucket to his net worth. So that's kind of where I think it's going to play out, but no idea about them zeroing out companies or taking part of SpaceX. There's already, from my understanding, private investors in SpaceX. They've already done some private rounds, and I think it's only a matter of time before SpaceX goes public, and then you see his net worth double again.
Fuck, that's awesome. Even though I can't stand the guy. I mean, he's just got his fingers in so many incredible things that have that ceiling that not many other incredible things have. Speaking of ceilings, how's the market? Were you in a recession? Where are you at? What are we doing here today?
Yeah, so I mean, today the Bank of Canada raised interest rates, and they basically said by a quarter basis point, 25.25 basis 25 basis points, 0.25 of our percentage. And so now I think, let me check the level here. I think it's like Dean, can you confirm? I think it's like 4.5% right now for the Bank of Canada interest rate. And then they kind of came out and said, look, we're going to pause now and kind of see how this affects the economy. And so last year when I was coming on your show, I really talked about
4.5. You're correct. 4.5%.
Yeah. And so, last year I really talked about how inflation was going to get crazy and central banks are really going to spin us out of control. Now, we're seeing a little bit of resiliency in some parts of the economy, right? Like where job losses aren't nearly as bad as people think they should be. And despite these high interest rates, like my thought last year was, oh, interest rates are going to jack up. We're going to get defaults on auto loans. We're going to get defaults on mortgages. It's going to be a downward spiral. This is the end. And we're actually seeing a little bit of resiliency in the economy right now. And so even though we are getting high jobs numbers, what we're seeing is we're still seeing inflation kind of drop down. I sent you a chart. I don't know if you were able to pull it up. Basically, it was a one-year chart of inflation over the U.S. And like at this time last year, March, February, it was up at around 11%. And now that's dropped about 50%. And so the fact that prices are coming down and the economy is stabilizing a bit, despite the fact that we still have a lot of recession chatter happening, there is a thought in the market that maybe the Federal Reserve in the U.S. and, subsequently here in Canada, we will be able to kind of skirt a deep recession and just kind of make it a little bit of a light one or just kind of a dip down and then back onto growth. And so we are seeing the market generally kind of stabilize here. The S&P 500 is currently around a 400, the 400 handle. Yeah, there it is right there. And so this is a website called Truflation, by the way. And this is a website that Anthony Scaramucci told me about when I was interviewing him last year. I was like, how do you gauge inflation? And he's like, oh, I just go to this website. And I was like, oh, cool. And so this is kind of a real-time gauge of inflation. And so you can see how high it was March and February. When did we all start hearing about it, Dean? Well, the news started covering it in August, September, and October. But by that time, inflation was already coming down. And so now I'm thinking that this is probably the most expected recession ever because everyone and their dog thinks there's a recession coming. My thought is, you know what? It's probably not going to be as bad as anyone thinks.
Quick question. As I know almost nothing about this. I have a lot of friends who own homes who are freaking out about how their mortgages are going up, $500-$600. So is it like, again, this is totally out of left field. I don't know what I'm talking about. Is it too early to think that people are going to default on their mortgages? Is it possible that it will still happen this year? Just because people are like freaking out about this, like again, in my circles anyway.
Well, I mean, it's always possible, especially if you bought, right at the top and you locked in, but typically if you did buy right at the top of the home values, the interest rates were still kind of low by then. So you should be okay. It's just about when people go to refi their mortgage. What rate are they going to lock in, even if they have a like a fixed rate or something like that. So the market kind of expects that, we don't, sorry, I was just reading Ryan's comment here. The market expects that the central banks will actually cut rates later this year, and that inflation will drop down to about 2 or 3%. Now, typically, governments, if you've taken a macroeconomics class, governments want inflation at around 2%. And so you've heard the Central Bank of Canada and the Federal Reserve in the US just really hammer on, we got to get it down to 2%. We got to get it down to 2%. So that's kind of their benchmark. My thought is it'll probably hover around where it is, but slowly kind of drag lower. And so hopefully no one ends up defaulting on their mortgage because of that. And I think banks generally don't want that to happen. And so I wouldn't be surprised if banks are, kind of tapping the Bank of Canada on the shoulder here to say, look, if you keep going, it's going to be trouble.
Yeah, you've got a lot of people that are doing that. Like Marianne brings up a good point, is you talk to certain people that have variable rate mortgages, and their mortgage went up $1,000, $1,500 a month. Some people $2,000 a month, depending on the house that you bought. And that's stiff. Like and here's the thing. Is in the Greater Toronto area, house prices are ridiculous, like to the point where generations that used to be able to afford homes can't afford them until they're like 50 years old. Like an average sticker price of $1 million for a shithole anywhere in the Greater Toronto area. It just is what it is. And so when you think about that, you think about interest rates staying where they are, and you think about that the fact that we're basically in a recession, and we've spending like 8 to 10% more on groceries. It's like paying attention to inflation is a big deal. Paying attention to your the income and expendable dollars that you had 3 years ago, those are gone just via inflation and via food inflation, via mortgage, via whatever the situation is that you are paying per month on something that you're borrowing, right? It is what it is. When will it subside, or is this just kind of the new reality? Because for the past 20 years, it's been, the interest rates have been 0.5%, right? The interest rates have been 0.75%. Or is this kind of the new normal? That's the question I would have.
So I can't predict the future, obviously, but my thought is that we're probably going to stay higher for longer than expected. And then, like I said, later this year, probably end up doing little cuts here just to kind of stimulate the economy as everything gets priced in. Right now, the biggest fear,
we're renting forever now. Is that what you're saying?
No, I don't think so. We could see a rise in house prices continue, unfortunately, for many who can't afford a home.
I can never buy a house.
We may end up seeing that continue. But it all depends on what happens with the economy and if we do achieve that soft landing that everyone is looking for. Right now, the main concern for markets is earnings, because all of these major indexes like the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ and stuff, they're heavily weighted to a lot of big tech leaders. And these big tech leaders have been growing at 20 to 30% every quarter for the last decade. And as Microsoft pointed out last night, you know what? That's actually not sustainable for us anymore. And so we may end up getting a little slowdown in the economy as some of these big tech companies end up losing on earnings.
Fascinating, dude. Fascinating.
And we did see them fire a bunch of people as well.
Wasn't there a ton of layout, like hundreds of
every day?
Layouts?
There's like every day there's like a major tech company that lays off 10,000 people.
Okay, dude. I went and met with our partner. So a lot of we're in a digital space. We work in a tech space, and it sounds weird, but that's what I do. I work in a tech space doing content. That's it. I'm not a radio guy. I'm not a content guy. We're just tech people that got in a space to try to figure it out. So a couple days ago, it was announced that Vox, it's a company that owns SB Nation, right? Everybody's aware of SB Nation, and that funds several very high-profile blogs, specifically hockey blogs in this country, really good ones. Canadians Hockey Blog, Pension Plan Puppets, Flames, Leafs, bunch of different, like really guys that work hard, guys that do a great job of producing content in and around hockey in specific cities and stuff. So a couple days ago, Vox is like, we're laying off 7% of our digital workforce. And they're like, okay, which ones? All the hockey, everything hockey related. and it ends. Our support for those projects ends on the 28th. So they have no funding, right? So keep that in mind. Then we got approached by another group out of the States, same thing. And then we got approached by another company here in Ontario, same thing. Because there have been a lot of these tech companies that have been funding small little blogs, little information sites, little atmospheres that produce content that they could monetize and aggregate that content. And now they're like, you know what? We're out. We don't even have enough people to be able to service what it is that we're doing, even though it's still a profitable vertical. And it's all because last week and the week before, we've seen just an exodus of people. 10,000 last week in one day got laid off at Google. Over the past month, 170,000 people working in tech spaces for Meta, Twitter, Google, Amazon, and it's Vox, all these different companies have all been either let go or they've just had their funding completely canceled, taken out, right? So you've got 150,000 people that were gainfully employed, making big money working for these tech companies that give them lunch, Uber, cab chits, like all the other stuff. And they're like, holy fuck, we have way overdone it. Interest rates are through the roof. We're super fucking leveraged. We got to get rid of a bunch of people, right? This space is a mess right now. Like and the
thing is,
mess.
this is what they want, though, Dean. This is what the Federal Reserve in the U.S. wants to see. They openly came out, basically and said, too many people have jobs. We need more people on the unemployment line because that's going to help bring down inflation. And so these big headline layoffs are exactly what the Federal Reserve in the U.S. want to see for them to stop raising interest rates. And so by all of these companies doing it and all of the headlines that it's making, people at the Federal Reserve in the U.S. right now and probably at the Bank of Canada are like, oh, good, what we're doing is working, you see? And so I know it sounds terrible, but they actually want people to lose their jobs. And I remember coming on here and talking to Lachlan Cross about that. And he's like, I hate that. And I'm like, yeah, sorry, brother, but that's actually what needs to happen for inflation to drop. And so now we're actually seeing that happen, and we are seeing inflation drop, and we're starting to get central banks slowing their roll in terms of interest rates.
But there's opportunity in this too, isn't there? I mean, there's lots of opportunity, financial opportunity. There's opportunity for us. I mean, we've been inundated with people that have come to us and say, can you help? And we're like, fuck yes, of course we can.
Yeah.
And I laughed with my partner today. I was talking to him on the phone, my business partner. And I'm like, we're firing, we're hiring. What does that say? And he says that the model that we're using works and the model that they use didn't work. And that model to me was just greed. Always has been. Sorry, Marianne. I know you wanted to say something.
Oh, no. I just, especially since Shopify is an Ottawa-based company, and there was, some layoffs. I think was it late last year. But Scott, maybe you can speak to this too. But was there, especially in the last decade, tech was hiring, like getting into tech was so huge. You're making like $250,000 compared to your $80,000 job. Were they just paying people too much money? Was it just like, were they just pumping way too much into it? Like, were they spending too much time, like money on people, like for people
Labor?
getting greedy?
Well, the cost of capital was basically zero. The cost of capital was zero, right? With interest rates so low, they could take out all of these loans, stack up all of this debt, pay next to nothing on the interest, and then use that to build out their business. And that's where you saw this explosion of some of these tech companies because, money was so cheap for so long.
Fascinating. It's a perfect storm, dude. And I'm here for all of it.
Great things come out of recessions, Dean. They really do. I mean, you're going to hate this, but Tesla launched during a recession. Like the stock launched, I believe, in 2008, like $12 or something like that. And then it became one of the biggest companies in the world. So, as hard as it is for everyone right now to deal with this, there are great opportunities beginning now within, I tend to believe that we've actually been in a recession for a year. That's what I've been saying. And so, there are good opportunities. And ideally, you're seeing that on your end where you have people who are...
This bears it out. This year-long chart at Truflation bears out the fact that we've been probably in a recession for a year, to your point. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, no worries. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, I mean, these for companies that are hungry and businesses that are growing, this is a great opportunity to scoop up fantastic talent and then build out their, tech stack or their business for the next, 10 years. And so, you are benefiting right now from this recession. And so, obviously I'm with you guys on Crier Media with Hot Wallet, and so is Marianne with Let's Play Games Outside or whatever it's called. And
Let's take this
Fuck. Why am I even here?
let's walk.
Marianne's going to benefit greatly with her mushroom foraging podcast.
Let's speed walk during the winter. She loves it.
Marianne's going to kill it with her forest bathing podcast.
Mm.
It's called Let's Take This Outside. It's fucking awesome.
What'd you say? Let's maybe play outside.
Yes,
I don't know.
Go outside and play. I think
I'm just jealous. You have sponsors for your podcast?
Oh, just signed my third. Yeah, by the way, just signed my third sponsor.
You just signed your.
That's amazing.
Isn't it crazy? Yeah, dude. She's got one of the biggest outdoor podcasts in the planet. It's fucking awesome. It is. It's totally true. An outdoor podcast. You're one of the top rated podcasts in Canada. And it's really good. As is Hot Wallet. We just need you to get doing it more. That's the thing. We just need you to do them.
Bro, I'm so busy.
Did you say
I'm
bro?
So busy.
Bro, I'm so busy.
Well,
you sound like a crypto
You have
bro.
no idea how I do at least, this week it'll probably end up being about 10 hours of video that I'm producing for the website that I work for.
StockMarketMentor.com.
And then after that, do StockMarketMentor.com and OptionMarketMentor.com. And so after that, I'm always like, do I really want to interview someone? I don't want to talk about the market right now. So,
well, why don't you combine the StockMarketMentor.com videos and do them with us too? I don't see do you not want the extra lift? Do you not want the advertising?
Well, because we have a subscription business.
Well, let's sell subscriptions. Let's you and I go into business and sell subscriptions to StockMarketMentor.com. That's what I'm saying.
Are you guys doing business on the podcast right now?
Right now, right here. Yeah, let's.
I got to get Dan on the podcast. You can talk to him. He's
I'd love to talk to Dan. You'd be able to do it. Sorry to pivot away from the financial stuff, but we're coming up to what is it? The year anniversary of the convoy. You're in Ottawa.
All I know is it's the end of January, and I don't remember what day it was. All I remember was the last weekend in January, which we're pretty much at. And the 1 year is coming up, and I'm like, holy crap, it's been that.
How you feeling? How you feeling about it?
Well, I'm moving next week, so I feel pretty good about it. But no, I there's the red zone. Remember the red zone map that they made in downtown Ottawa? There's this issue right now because there's a bunch of restaurant owners downtown Ottawa who are trying to reinvigorate the downtown, and they call and so they're inviting people to this launch party, and it's $80, and they're calling it South of Parliament, aka SOPA. So they're calling it come down to SOPA, and I'm like, this is a terrible name. This is not going to work. So it's kind of bringing up all these feelings again, oh my gosh, there was a bunch of assholes down here who did whatever they wanted for 3.5 weeks. So honestly, I feel totally fine about it. It's just one of those things that's hard to think that it actually happened and that it was allowed to happen and that it happened for a long time and we saw the hearings and that everyone just screwed up. Everyone with high paying jobs just didn't do their job. Right. So it's just kind of one of those what am I going to do about it? Right. There's nothing I can do and just accept that a lot of people didn't do their jobs well. So just those just normal feelings other than the fact that, it's been a year and I can't believe this happened because it's so when those memories come up on Facebook or your phone and it brings up pictures and you're like, that's not something I wanted to remember. So things are going to start coming up over the next couple of weeks of pictures I posted during the convoy. And I'm not really looking forward to it, to be honest. I don't really.
Yeah. A lot of people, I was reading something the other day and people are getting triggered by, when Apple, you get an iPhone, it's remember this day last year and it puts it to music for you. A lot of people are getting, hey, remember this day last year, this time last year. And it's people from Ottawa that took pictures of all the shit that are going on, and their phones are causing people PTSD because it's just horns that keep coming up on their phone set to Zamfir, Master of the Pan Flute background music, which is kind of funny to me, but whatever. But it's still happening, Marianne, is my point. The convoy stuff is kind of still happening. Case in point, if you haven't seen these videos of Justin Trudeau in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, kindly referred to as the armpit of Ontario.
Isn't that where Ryan lives?
No, yeah, just close. Hamilton, just outside Binbrook. It's like a nice little bedroom community just outside of Hamilton. So he doesn't live in Hamilton, but he's from the area.
What part of the body would he be in?
He would be the taint.
Penis.
Binbrook would be the taint of Southern Ontario, and I believe Hamilton is the anus, where the taint meets the anus portion of Ontario.
Right. I'm just trying to picture it. You know, I'm thinking about the bottom where they got the balls, and then
Yeah.
Can you bring up your son's picture? Can you bring up that son's picture to like?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So Hamilton on your son's artwork would be just below the balls.
Gotcha. Okay.
So
see,
it's like
now I get it. Thanks,
okay.
Dean. I used to live there, but I forget.
So Justin Trudeau is in Hamilton having infrastructure meetings, talking to people, politicians, Andrew Horvath.
Doing his job.
He's doing his job. He's doing his job. And everybody hates him when we know that. This is the reception, and I've got a few videos. I want you to watch this. These are people who chose to do this for 3 straight days. And these are the same people that went to the convoy. I want you to note the fuck Trudeau flags. I want you to see Trudeau walking through this. And I want you to see his personal security, literally pinballing people. This is the Prime Minister of Canada. And people are trying to attack him in Hamilton yesterday. Watch this.
It's like 20 people.
That gives me that triggers me for sure.
Does it?
The horns, the flags, the incessant yelling that makes no sense.
Screen, did you hear the dude in his face? You fucking tyrant. You fucking tyrant. Did you hear that? Did you see that?
Yeah, I heard all of it.
And Trudeau's just like walking through.
Okay,
just taking bullets.
By
the way,
if this was like Joe Biden, right? Like this would like as in the security
city.
Like the security would be like Justin Trudeau would not be allowed on.
They would have blocked off the street, the block. Yeah. They would have blocked it all off. That's Joe Biden.
But that's what I don't understand about Canadian politics. Yeah. Why don't we protect our prime minister the way America protects their president?
It would have taken like one shiv to like, right?
Yeah. Well, then no one's getting that close. And that's a great point. And I have an answer for that, I believe, and we'll get to it. This is another angle. This is him coming out of that dinner at a place called the Bread Pan in beautiful downtown Hamilton. By the way, great place, with the exception of the King Can folks. But this is him coming out of dinner. And I want you to listen to a woman. She is the one holding the camera. I want you to pay special attention to how she absolutely turns it on. Totally normal. Trudeau comes out. Listen to the fucking mouth on this chick.
Sorry for my shakiness. I'm freezing.
I should say vaccine.
Oh, here we go. Secret security. Trudeau, you fucking monster. You're an asshole. You're destroying this country. You are destroying this country. You are dividing this country. Trudeau. Trudeau. Trudeau, look at me. Look at me. Look at me. Look at me, Trudeau. You're a monster. You have blood on your hands. Blood on your hands. You monster. Don't touch me. I'm not doing anything wrong. Trudeau, you're a monster. Look at this monster. Look at him laughing. You have blood on your hands. You have blood on your hands. You will be held accountable. You will be held accountable. You will be. You will be held accountable, you monster. You monster.
Okay, first of all, what did he say to her? What did Trudeau say to her?
Something like, have a nice day. See you next Tuesday.
He was,
don't forget to vote.
Yeah, don't forget to vote Liberal.
He was laughing, but I thought when the video was shaking, I'm like, is she going to blame the vaccine? I thought she was going to blame the vaccine. When like the video was like,
I can't believe she waited for this moment to see him, and she can't even hold the phone right. She's shaking so much. I saw him for like half a second.
Dude, it's fucking hilarious.
I like that he was laughing. I love that he was laughing.
He was just thought it was great. But this woman, so I saw the video, and it's him coming out of the restaurant, and this woman is literally like, if there's a video of her behind the scene, and she's jumping up and down trying to get his attention, and he's like, I just had a killer linguine in there, lady. Like killer linguine, a little pesto, some chicken, some shrimp. And she's like, fuck you. You got blood on your hands, you monster. And he's like, don't forget to vote Liberal. And I'm like, my God, I'm really turning. Like, I know the guy's a cock, and I'm still pissed about him calling an election during the pandemic when we were sick to try and get this power grab. And I fucking hate his virtue signaling. I'm starting to turn around on the guy. I'm like, hey, I gotta tell you, JT, that was a sweet move. Like, watch him. This woman, the vitriol is out of control. And not only is he walking towards it, he's looking at her going, don't forget to vote in 2 years.
You know why? Because she's like, you have blood on your hands. He's like, that's pasta sauce.
That's a little bolognese, actually. It's a little bolognese.
Sorry for my shakiness. I'm freezing.
Yeah, that's because you're outside protesting where you got kids at home and it's freezing cold outside and you're an idiot who's wasting their life. But whatever.
Oh, here we go. Secret security. Trudeau, you fucking monster. You're an asshole. You're destroying this country. You are destroying this country. You are dividing this country. Trudeau. Trudeau.
Did you see that? There. Wait, I'm going to try and get the picture of him smiling.
Look at me. Look at me. Trudeau, you're a
He's like, have a great day, lady. Have a great day.
You have blood on your hands. Blood on your hands. You monster.
So, do you know why people are doing this?
She's so crazy.
Let's welcome a couple of people into the show that are on standby because they, I don't know, they're watching this and they're enjoying it. Paul Atkinson, Polly's World. Nice to see you. Ryan Lindley's here as well. Marianne, yes, go ahead. Yeah.
Like, I just don't understand how people like are. She's freezing. Like, why are you like you're that?
Well,
it's funny because so she had this normal voice.
Yeah,
she has this normal voice, right? She's like, I'm just here. I'm waiting. I'm freezing, and then she's like, you're a monster. Like she goes so crazy.
Yeah,
well, it's like when someone sees the Backstreet Boys for the first time.
Yeah.
They're like, I'm just cool and collected, and then they come on stage, and it's like.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
To notice that transition here. Watch this.
Sorry for my shakiness. I'm freezing.
And here comes Justin, fresh off a bowl of spaghetti bolognese that the government paid for. Maybe a couple of Rickard's Red, possibly a Guinness. By the way, that was free too.
Oh, here we go. Secret security. Trudeau, you fucking monster. You're an asshole. You're destroying this country. You are destroying this country. You are
Anyway.
What's with the secret security? It's called security. There's nothing secret about it. They're RCMP officers in plain clothes. Hey, Tie Cats, brother. Yeah, you guys just signed.
Listen. First of all, I want some respect when you're speaking about Mayor Horwath when she's trying to videotape the Prime Minister.
Put some respect on her name.
Put some respect on that was Andrea's video, I think.
Yeah.
Sounded like Andrea. Yeah, our downtown has been fucked for the last 48 hours. Just so you guys are aware.
Is it
just because of these fucking tools? Every fucking yeah.
Okay, but let's figure this out because I'm no fucking spring chicken when it comes to doing research. And so I did a couple of little thingy things, phoned a couple of people, and the vast majority of these people were bussed in by Canada Proud. I don't know if you guys know that. Canada Proud, Jeff Ballingall, This
Not surprised.
fucking greasy
Black
fat
car
fuck.
services, actually. I saw people coming out of like black vans, like the big black, like the limo, like the airport limos, like those.
Yeah, so this is not organic. Don't get me wrong. This is not like people just showed up on their own volition, part of a chat site. Everybody wants a better Canada. No. Most of these people were engineered. Some were paid. This is a plan. Canada Proud, Pierre Poilievre, all of his buddies, Jeff Ballingall, those fucking losers, those greasy little pricks. They did is they're like, hey, let's fucking send people down because he's going to be in Hamilton. We can make everybody look bad. That is what this is. And that is why we see American flags all over the fucking place. And it's not just, as you can see, this is the start of it. This is your beautiful downtown Hamilton. And this started like 2 days ago. This has been going on for 48 hours.
Are you guys getting a convoy?
They got their own little fucking King Can convoy in Hamilton.
Without the train horns, mind you, but they are shooting off fireworks hours. I don't know if they've started to shit in the streets yet, but give them time. Give them time. Maybe they brought.
That's that. We call that Tuesday here in Hamilton. It's fine.
Oh, okay.
Any hot tubs?
Apologies.
It's been happening for decades.
So
Any hot
that
tubs?
part's not new.
Someone making community chili on the street corner.
Randy Hillier with his pancake station.
But I want to put something forward here for the group. Okay, you guys are all very bright, politically minded, smart, with it. Content people that pay attention to this kind of stuff. Justin Trudeau loves this.
Oh, yeah.
And let me explain why. Because every single crazy that he walked through on purpose, he didn't take any side doors yesterday. And he wanted that video.
Mm-hmm.
And the Liberal Party wanted that video. And their PR department wanted that video. Because every single one of those paid operatives that Jeff Ballingall thinks he's like, I'm going to send some people down there to fuck with him. Pierre Poilievre's like, that's a great idea. And then all of his other douchebag buddies are like, let's get a couple of buses or let's give people money for an Uber and a fuck Trudeau flag. Let's just fucking be dicks. Okay, let's do it. The Liberal Party is doing something very interesting with this in their PR department. They're embracing it. Mm-hmm. And the reason why they're embracing it is because in a year and a half, what are we, a year and a half away from an election, maybe 2 years away from an election?
Yep.
They're going to tell everybody who did this. And they're going to connect all those dots. And all you're going to see in terms of liberal advertising is, let me show you what a Pierre Poilievre Canada looks like. Let me show you what voting for Conservatives will get you. It'll get you that. And then they'll have a picture of Justin Trudeau skiing with his wife. Whatever they're calling themselves. I don't really know. It doesn't matter to me. They're going to have a picture of him skiing with his wife, him taking abuse, him smiling, going, don't forget to vote Liberal. And they're going to clean the fuck up.
Yeah.
I mean, it is. And I was talking with a Liberal strategist the other day, who's a friend of mine who's not a Liberal strategist anymore. He's just a strategist, even though he did work with the Liberals. And he's like, dude, this is fucking awesome to watch. He's like, the rest of Canada's freaking out. And if you want to know why everybody in the Liberal Party is minding their P's and Q's, if you want to know why they're trying to be professional, if you want to know why they're trying to make it look like it doesn't bother them, like they don't care, is because they're going to weaponize the fuck out of all of it. Mm-hmm. And every day, Jeff Ballingall, Pierre Poilievre, the alt-right time machine, every day that they do this kind of stuff, those guys are like, just send us the audio and the video, make sure it's high res. Like that's all they're doing. And it's going to be over. So, I mean, keep doing it, right? Because it's given us a good 20 minutes of content. It's impactful to watch and it drives people crazy. But while you guys are playing checkers with your ding-dings, everybody else is coming up with a strategy to use you and your checkers game against you in a fucking wicked game of Parcheesi. So just know that. And when you're upset and you're angry and you're like, why is this still happening? Just know that they're trying to trigger all of us, see through it all. And this is what's going on. And Justin Trudeau is going to be the beneficiary of it all. And I fucking think it's hilarious at this point. I could be wrong.
He's already started.
They could. Oh, sorry to cut you off, Ryan. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say he's already starting to cash in on it a bit. I don't know if you saw the presser with him when he was in Saskatchewan, when he snubbed Mo and didn't invite him to the thing. And somebody questioned him, and he laid it out perfectly. And this is what I was saying. It reminded me, it was very reminiscent of that time he went off script when he was in campaigning for that shitty election. And he said, well, and he used his name. He said Polyev is just out here fear mongering and not offering any solutions. We're offering you guys solutions to problems, and if you want to be a part of the solution, then you can get on the team that's trying to solve the problems, or you can just keep fear mongering, complaining, and rage baiting everybody in the country, and getting nowhere and spinning your wheels. And the way he said it was perfect. I'm not a fan of his I'm not a liberal guy at all, but I'll tell you right now, that's the guy, right? And that's the guy. If there was an election tomorrow, that's the guy that's getting mine. You know, like I'm sorry, but the other two viable options in this country are garbage, and that includes Singh. Singh is he's a ineffective. I'm getting on a rant. I'm going to stop.
Yeah, but, we don't need to go down the political.
Yeah, I won't go down that road. But yeah, no, it's
come on the Friday morning show, buddy. We'll go down that road.
He's already starting. He's already starting to cash in on it, and keep writing those checks, folks, because you're just going to push him into a majority in the next election. It's great.
It'll be awesome to watch. I get a kick out of it every time I see one of these videos, and then I wonder how many are from Alberta, Scott.
Yeah, probably a lot. But my thought, Dean, is, Canadians are generally so polite. Part of me wonders, are some Canadians going to vote for Pierre Poilievre and some of the people, essentially supporting the people that are protesting Trudeau just to get rid of these people? Like, okay, let's just give them what they want so that they shut up and all vote for Pierre Poilievre just to see if it's any better. Like, do you think that that's a possibility? I just want to take the other side of your thought, because I agree with you. The Liberals are definitely going to weaponize this, but part of me thinks that some of it might work just so that everyone else, who is tired of the Trudeau flags and the protests as we drive up and down the street, just to make those people kind of go away.
Interesting. I that's a great question. I don't know. I mean, there's so much going on here that we don't know, right? We only see the end result of crazy or strategy or, some kind of political wrangling. But it's fascinating. I just know. I mean, I was listening to the audio of the honking and the screaming and the fuck yous, and I was looking at Marianne's face, right, because she lived through it. And then Paul showed up. I mean, is it triggering for both of you guys?
Paul, I was going to ask you and see how you're feeling coming up to like this week.
Weird emotions going on. It's like, might be why my depression and anxiety have been all over the map as of late. Weird emotions are coming on, and I don't know entirely what to think about it. So, I talked to my doctor the other day. He says, we're going to alter your medication, so no alcohol for 6 weeks. I said, probably a good thing right now at this time of the year, considering what we're about to go back into, the 1-year anniversary of all of that crap. So maybe I'll go alcohol free for 6 weeks, as I augment the medication, because it's not been doing what it needs to do lately. And I watched like 30 seconds of a video last night, and I was like, I can't do it. I can't do it because the blood starts to boil, and I want to go out and start hitting things.
Yeah, well, how does that, like, take me through that experience? And Marianne, you too. Like, how does that? Because, like, listen, there's been serious psychopathy that's been caused by this group of people, by this movement, by this culture. But when you start, and Marianne and Paul both, I'd love to hear from both of you real quick. I know Marianne's got to go, but so let's start with Marianne. But like when you see this kind of stuff and you're arriving on the anniversary, how does it manifest itself physically in you?
It's funny, Paul, as you mentioned that, and I thought it was like, the time of year or it's been so dark and lack of sun. And I've just been kind of all over the map with my emotions lately. So it's so funny that you mentioned that too. And this might be a part of it, right? This might be a part of that.
I think it's contributing.
I think it's maybe contributing to it. And honestly, like I said before, I'm actually okay. Like I'm actually like, but it's more, I think when pictures going to start coming up again on memories, when like my phone's going to automatically populate, or it's just going to, or like people will be publishing like 1-year anniversary, like news stories, whatever that may be. I think it'll come up. Overall, I think I'm okay, but how it manifests, I would say, would be that anxiety that was completely overwhelming for like 3.5 weeks, right? So it comes up, I'm able to manage it. I'm happy I am, but I also understand that, like, Paul, you were like right in the thick of it, right? So I understand how you're feeling. I could totally understand that it is debilitating.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm able to get up and go to work every day, but I got to admit the last
Good.
week and a bit it's been weird. And I was trying to figure out why. And you're right, the lack of sunlight hours, the fact that we've gotten 3 sunny days in the last 20. I mean,
Right.
it's been overcast every day for January, but weirdly warm and not nearly enough snow. So I can't go skiing because the mountains suck right now. And, and I'm stuck in the house all the time because it's like work, and then go to the day job and then come home and do more work. And I'm kind of in a rut. So it's like, let's augment the medication, throw away the alcohol for a little while and try and meditate and get away from the idea of we're about to approach the 1-year anniversary of me screaming at these fuckwads in the streets.
Right.
And Lord knows what kind of stuff is going to be thrown at me over the next couple of weeks because of that. And I can deal with it. It's not a big deal. Whatever. I'll shoulder it, whatever. But I'm sure it's been something that's contributed to the anxiety and depression. Of course, it is also the Let's Talk Day for the, single telecom company oligopoly. Yeah. I like the message, but the company that does it, they can.
Well, I will say this, is that I put up an article today. I don't know if you know this, but that company is also doing a contest for those people. It's called the Bell. No, I know. It's and they're doing it a company-wide contest for Bell to give away mattresses to people if you tell them how bad your depression is and hit them up on social media. So. Nice. Yeah, if you want to talk about that, we can talk about that. I'd rather not because, we all know that, Bell Let's Talk Day is not really about helping people, right? It's about driving a vertical and making money and making it look like you care.
Yeah.
That's my
But it has gotten people to talk about it. So that's a good thing.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
One single ancillary benefit. Sorry, Ryan.
I heard TELUS is running something similar. They say if you tell them the story about IBS, they give you a MyPillow right now. So if you tweet them your IBS stories, you'll get a MyPillow from Mike Lindell. I think it's a great deal.
That's an awesome ideal. Yeah, that'd be great. Marianne, I know you got to go. Marianne Iveson, MA on the air is where you can find her. Follow her on Twitter. Make sure you download and sub her podcast too. Not only is she an aficionado of the leggings and know exactly what they're all about, but she's got one of the best outdoor podcasts in all of Canada. Let's take this outside. If you're into outdoor activity, you want to learn from the best in that space. Marianne is one of them, and she cycles some of the really, really high-end folks in the outdoor space to tell you about their disciplines. Who do you got? What's your most recent? What are you doing? What do you have for us?
I interviewed a woman named Corinna Coffin. She's one of the best outdoor Spartan athletes in the world. She's actually American. Just a wonderful, kind human being. And she's doing something called the tactical games where she runs with a gun and then shoots at stuff. It's amazing. So she's super cool. But next week I have the president of the Canadian Ski Marathon. His name is Réal Perriard. A friend of mine, one of the reasons I love living here so much, I went skiing yesterday morning. Who's in the parking lot in Gatineau Park? It's Réal. Give each other huge hugs. We chat about the Canadian Ski Marathon. Yeah. So I have Réal coming out next Tuesday to talk about the Canadian Ski Marathon, but also just to talk about endurance sports. And he's just a badass endurance athlete. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
You love those guys. You love the endurance athletes. You have a lot of those people on your podcast. Let's take this outside, Spartan
that's a
athletes,
next level.
endurance runners, that kind of stuff.
It's a next level of mental fortitude, right? So
no, I know it well.
Good to see you.
Good to see you. Hi, Ryan.
Hi.
I didn't even say hi. Nice to see you, Scott. Okay, bye, guys.
Rude.
Marianne Iveson, ladies and gentlemen.
We got to go to dinner again soon. North and Navy's, we got to go back there.
Yeah, we should go back.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
You
bye,
got to
guys.
go for dinner. She'll go for dinner.
Yeah, well, the North and Navy invited me to dinner last year as a thanks for standing up for our friends and neighbors in Centertown. So they treated us to dinner and drinks, 100% of the tab. They wouldn't let us tip or anything. They're like, nope, thank you. Oh, yeah. Gave me a thank you card, sent me the invite, and I was like, oh, fantastic. And great.
Free dinner.
Local people.
For yelling
well,
at
not only
folks.
that, but guys, here's the best part. It all from scratch Italian. So nothing packaged. It's all from scratch, in-house, and the menu constantly. Great spot, local people, and I wanted to thank them once again. So I think we'll go back. Marianne and I are going to go back and have dinner again. This time I'll pay.
Oh, yeah. When they paid, you didn't. Dude, that's the best time to pay is and I hope you didn't tell her that they were paying for you.
No. She knew because it was all over the news that I'd been invited.
Well, then you made a mistake.
Yeah. Idiot.
Stupid idiot. Stupid. You doing?
Marianne's my bud.
You don't invite. I know, but you don't
be her-
invite a female out for dinner and go, by the way, it's comped. You never say that.
She knew in advance.
I know she did. But next time, I'm just trying to give you some advice. By the way, if you're wondering about Paul and how he got on this show, again, let's just relive the
fucking freedom have you lost? What freedom have you lost? Tell me a freedom you've lost. And it's not even hard. I love you. Fucking stop.
Then it stops when the government lifts the mandates.
You fucking idiot! The mandates are provincial, not federal.
Wow.
Fuck
Paul,
you!
I had no idea. I have so much more respect
I'm wearing the
for
same
you now.
pants, by the way. I'm wearing those same pants right now.
That's crazy.
You didn't know that was him, Scotty? You didn't know he was Blue Jacket guy? Are you serious?
No idea. I'm dead serious.
Dude,
yeah.
This is how we met. I'm like, I gotta fucking find this guy. Someone's like, okay, I've got his phone number. And so I texted him. I'm like, are you the Blue Jacket guy? He's like, you bet I am. I'm like, you want to come on my show? He's like, you're fucking right, I do.
Then it stops when the government lifts the mandates.
You fucking idiot! The mandates are provincial, not federal.
Wow. Paul, I don't know what happened after that video. What did he say back to you? Was he like, darn, I should go back to Alberta?
Well, let's play it.
Yeah.
Let's play it. Here it is.
Mandates! If you're mad about wearing a mask or getting a fucking vaccine, go talk to Doug Ford!
Okay, well, you know what?
The fucking Prime Minister has nothing to do with this!
Actually, he does.
Do you know anything about civics?
Yes, I do.
Wow.
Bullshit! Fuck you!
Do you know? And you know what I loved about that, Scotty, too, was the presence of mind he had right in that moment. Totally triggered, snapping his ass off. Fucking hasn't slept in like a week, tired of it. And he brings up the fact that you probably should have heard about some of this in civics class.
I mean, you're just a natural born educator. That's what you are, Paul.
Well, I don't know about that, but you know, I'll be happy to teach somebody
and we all need it. You know, it's funny. I remember watching that video, and I'm like, "Oh, good point."
Well, I get into it with people on Twitter all the time when they go, "Fucking Trudeau ruined my life because he locked everything down." Okay, first off, I never had a lockdown. Lockdown is when you're made to stay in your dwelling. I was able to come and go when I wanted. Number one. Number two, all of the shutdowns, as in restaurants were closed, parks were closed, things that was all provincial mandates. The only federal mandates were not being able to get on a plane or a train without a vaccine or a mask. That was it. And then they went nuts about, well, I want to go to the U.S. as a truck driver. Talk to Joe Biden.
Yeah,
you can't.
I lost my job. Talk to your boss.
Talk to your boss. You still can't enter the U.S. without being vaccinated. You have to be vaccinated if you want to cross the border. So, talk to Joe Biden.
You know what I wish?
You know,
what?
I wish that, because here's what happens. Let me explain things. This real quick explanation. Whenever there
explaining
is,
music?
Yeah, please. Some explaining music would be lovely. Whenever
music.
there is an opportunity to fire a whole bunch of people from a business, pandemic, recession, whatever, they don't go after the geniuses they need. Okay? They just don't. They need the geniuses and the smart people to keep working. So, I know this because I may or may not do this in my own work, business practices as the owner-operator of a conjoined effort. So when COVID happened, the government, Bell, Rogers, every other company, and shitty companies, yes, I grant, they didn't go after people who were great to work with, people who got it, people who were flexible, people who did a great job, people who had great performance reviews, people who deserved to continue to work. They went after the idiots. They went after the assholes. They went after the dummies. They went after the people that don't like work, that are a problem, that have no social skills, that are trigger freaks. Like, they went after the assholes, the people who are just like space cadets and can't fucking figure it out. Dumb people.
Yeah.
So when someone says to me, and listen, a lot of the people in the workforce that manage these businesses that fired these people and used COVID as the actual reasoning for it, did these people a fucking disservice. What they should have done is said, I got to be honest with you. COVID, yeah, have to lay people off. But we're laying just the losers off. And you're one of them. And here's why. You complain about everything. Everything's our fault. We never show you enough respect. You never finish out the workday. You floated the idea of quiet quitting in a group email. You've done all these terrible, dumb things because we regretted hiring you the moment we did. So we're using this as an opportunity to get rid of the losers. Now, it's going to save us money and keep us in business, but it's also an opportunity to get rid of assholes. Mm-hmm. So every single person out there that's running around going, Justin Trudeau took away my job. That's not the case. Your boss used the pandemic to get rid of you because you suck. Pretty simple,
right?
It's an immutable hiring and firing thing in big business. Is that when it's time for layoffs, they look for people to make way too much money that don't deliver.
Oh, yeah.
Or people who are a pain in the ass. And Ryan, you know this to be true. Scott, you were a boss of people. You've fired people. You've been asked to cut headcount. And did you cut headcount from people, either of you, of people who were really key to the operation and really did a great job? Ever? Yes, no?
No.
And went through it during this COVID. Same thing. You're absolutely correct. It was one of those, hey, we've got an opportunity here to trim some fat and trim some cancer. And if we can just cut it right the fuck out. You know what sounds good? That guy's an asshole. He doesn't want a vaccine. I don't want him here anyway. Fucking win-win.
New policy.
But the problem
you can't
is
work
all
here
of
if you're
those
not
people,
vaccinated.
Yeah.
All those people ended up going on Facebook, getting together, and then marching to Ottawa because they're so mad.
That's okay. That's 400 kilometers away from my business. That's fine.
Those people, but it was like, to Scott's point, and that's a great point. It was like all those people that got fired are like, fuck that. And all of their bosses that fired them could have fucking dealt with the combo before it went, saying, hey, listen, you're just an idiot. You'll never be smart. You're terrible at almost everything you did here. We're using the pandemic as cover to get rid of you and all the other idiots. So don't blame the pandemic. The vaccine thing's just a great excuse for us to say, hey, get rid of Charlie because he's like 5 bricks short of a load. And his wife can't stop calling us to tell us that he's cheating on him and we need to keep an eye on. Like those are the people.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Paul,
and
like,
they're
you
also
were down there. Paul was down there with the people. Paul, did you see anyone you might want to hire? Probably not.
No.
Not a lot of recruiting going on down there.
I've run businesses and I've hired and fired people. And guess what? I'm pretty strict about my hiring practice. If you don't have the kind of culture that is amiable to working with my coworkers that I already have, you ain't getting in. And if you're an asshole, out the door, my friend. And COVID, like you said, Dean, was a great way to just cut the fat. And it was simple. New rules. If you're not vaccinated, you can't work here. What? Yeah. Well, all the clients we work with insist that you need to be vaccinated just to show up because we're a service company, right? So you need to be able to show up at their business. You need to be vaccinated. Not vaccinated, bye.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. There were so many.
That being said,
Suck it.
That being said, there were a couple of guys on our crew who were not vaccinated, but they weren't raging a-holes about it. They just said, I don't want the assholes. They didn't preach. They didn't tell anybody else they shouldn't get vaccinated. They didn't go on and on and on. They just said, look, I don't want to get vaccinated. They went, okay.
No, but I can tell you something. Even
we'll
if they didn't want to get vaccinated and they weren't assholes about it, and I could care less about vaccines. It doesn't matter to me. The vaccine's a cover for a lot of businesses. And it was.
Oh, yes.
They probably fired those people that didn't complain about vaccines because they probably weren't great at the fucking job they were doing.
Those people got cut
You're not firing awesome people. Like, you're just not. So what you get is all these people, to Ryan's point, that are like, you know what? And to Scott's point, like, did you see anybody in that video of Justin Trudeau getting chased into the restaurant at the Bread Pan in Hamilton? You're like, get me his number. Like, should hire that guy.
I can guarantee you a few of those people are about to find out what it's like to be on the unemployment line.
They are on the unemployment line already.
Well, probably, yeah.
There's no fucking way because it's the same actors every single time.
It appears so, yeah.
Always the same people.
That is their job.
I my favorite is and this is where you get the people like that, the staged actor folk who draw in, and the bots and everything else of the trolls online that draw in the regular chuds, like just the normal, like the dough brains that say,
I love that word, chud.
Yeah, I'm going to take my fucking company truck down to Ottawa and honk the horn and put a fuck Trudeau flag on it right next to the company name, and I'll be fine, right? Because I'm allowed to take my truck home. Do you know how many people got fucking fired and canned, like literally there where people were coming to Ottawa? Like we were following it the one time on the show. The people that were showing up from other businesses to pick up their vehicles would be like, because the police are like, yeah, we're going to tow your truck. They're like, where the fuck is it? Well, it's in downtown Ottawa. What the fuck is it doing there?
I'm in Saskatoon. What
the hell?
Then Bob from Bob's Trucking's fucking there, all pissed off, trying to wade his way through the chuckle fucks to try and get his truck back. And there's Pete, his driver. It's for freedom, Bob. And he's like, fuck you, you're fired. And he just drive his truck away, right? So those are the people I don't feel sorry for. Anybody who got co-opted or caught up, and I just don't. If you can't summon up enough fucking brain power to know that was an absolute farce and a sham, then you know what? Sorry, pal. Maybe you do end up in a tent in Ottawa for the rest of your time, shitting in the street, because that's probably the level you're at that you can handle. You can handle that level of involvement in society, is where you're just a leech, and we'll all just keep paying. We'll just keep taking care of you. No problem. That's what we do.
Like, this is the best show on television for me. I mean, like, God, I'm so far past. I don't know about you guys. Like, when I see this, I'm not triggered by it. It's like, oh, fuck, this is new. This is good. This is great. This is fun, because it's classified for me. Like, I've classified it and I've put it in the right box. And that box is, as Ryan's pointed out, these are people who are just the dregs of society. Sorry, they are. I mean, the people that show up to these things are people that have no money, no hope, no interest in life in their own. So they'll give their time and their negative energy to an outside cause, get on a bus for $25 and wave a flag around in the freezing cold and act like a fucking lunatic and make themselves crazy, right? That's what goes through my mind. Like, I know this is an op. I know who pays for it. We've already unmasked it. It's not a big deal. And I think it's funny. But there's that part of this too, right? Where it's like, there are some people that we watched in those videos in Hamilton accosting the prime minister that are spending their life force and their lifetime, time in their life they will never get back.
Lost you there.
We lost your audio, Dean.
How's that? Is that better?
There you are.
Yeah, there you go.
Be a legitimate, insane, angry person, and to take whatever psychopathy they got on the inside about the things that they're being told by Pierre Poilievre, the Toronto Sun, the National Post, True North, Rebel, that this guy's the devil. And so these people show up and they're like, you know what? Instead of getting a job, or instead of spending the night at home with my kid playing Connect 4, or instead of reading a book on how to chill the fuck out, or instead of going to counseling to figure out why you are doing this, why you are giving your negative life force
right there,
people in these groups, they're just going. They're just doing it. And you know what? To me, that's the real shame, because I count time as very fucking important, right?
It's the most valuable thing.
And we spent the last 3 years building this, connecting with people, relationships, and standing up for what we think is right. But at the same time, doing the work of human beings, not showing up to tell people I'm crazy angry, and this is the only place I can be crazy angry with all these other people. Fuck, I could care less about that stuff. But those people have not only wasted 3 years, they've ruined 3 years. And they're continuing to do it, and there's nothing they can do about it. And on top of that, you guys, the Liberal Party and that institution is going to take all of those videos and they're going to place it at the feet of the Conservative Party, and they are going to fuck them over and over and over again.
Oh yeah, it's already happening, like on the fringes of the people that are of this mindset. And I'll make it quick, but you guys all follow Dr. Sarteshi, right? The one that's been trailing Romana Didulo. Have you seen how many people are losing their homes right now? It's around
Crazy.
that cycle, that time cycle of where about 6 months ago they all stopped paying their bills and they stopped paying their mortgage because the Queen Romana said they didn't have to, and now they're all in court losing their shit. Like it's the fuck around of times. It's the find out time now, right? So now, and that's where we are. We're at the point where it's time to find out that life is not a WWE spectacle, and we don't live in a Tom Clancy fucking mystery novel. Everybody that has a boring life saw the opportunity to make it exciting by following and chasing conspiracy theory and vomiting it back out, pretending it was real and affecting them. These fucking people that are shaking all over the fucking internet right now are proof of this. And there's an expiration date on that. There's an expiration date on playtime. Like for me, it was when I was 8. For some of these people, it's now come back, I guess, right? So it's now time to, and this is where it frustrates. That's my girl. This is where it frustrates me and at the same time, I'm proud to be a Canadian who lives in a country that takes care of those fucking idiots. You know what I mean? But you know what? I'm it's hard to say I'm glad you're losing your house, but I'm kind of glad you're losing your house. I'm glad you're falling on your face. I'm glad you're a piece like you are receiving what you fucking asked for. Like you're getting what you wanted. You know what I mean? Like there's no polite way to say I'm glad you're a fucking idiot and you're fucking paying for it. I'm sorry, there's not. But sure enough.
Yeah, we're playing. It's fine. Ryan's flowing, and you're 100% correct in everything you're saying. But while you're flowing, by the way,
that's Tybo.
like a fucking magic man. While you're flowing, we're playing a video of these people having fake COVID seizures. And it's just fucking the best. I mean, you know, you can't write this.
How'd you get up on stage? Like,
well,
they don't show her walking from the audience. Now she's taking her shoes off.
I just want them both to hold my milk to turn it into a shake.
You guys ever had that though, where you get that foot itch, like right on the bottom of your foot when the tenactin's not working fast enough? I get just like that. Like that's how I fucking do it too. I kick my shoe off and yeah.
I think she has worst case. Worst case.
I think she has one of those Dr. Ho things on her back.
Yeah, they're like that's good. My favorite, because everybody's doing the mocking, like shaking videos of people that the vaccine injury shaking videos that were all mocked. By the way, Ryan, you know the lady with the beer. She deleted her whole fucking account the other day.
Oh, shocked.
Yeah.
Shocked.
Yeah,
weird.
They all did. But the mocking that people are doing where they put out a tweet with a video of someone shaking or moving weird. And they're like, this happened to my friend Pablo. And it's just the dude dancing.
In a fez too.
He kind of looks like that clogger, that blue shirt clogger, but with
from
200
the Country Hoedown.
It's like
bro got some rhythm though.
Pablo got the shot this morning, and this is him this afternoon. Fuck Pfizer.
Poor guy. I hope he's
I don't know if you saw the one I sent you, Dean. I sent one to you and Locke. It was a scene from Showgirls. It was the scene with Elizabeth Berkley in the pool with Kyle MacLachlan.
Just banging.
Yeah. And the guy's like, my friend Nomi got the vaccine for COVID in 1995, and she's been like this ever since. You can't show it here because there's a lot of nudity, but I'm like,
yeah, I know,
brilliant.
Yeah, no, it's great. I think it's great. I love it. I love every one of them, and I love getting the ones that come in. Are you making fun of somebody with a disability? Yes, no, I'm making fun of somebody co-opting a disability for fucking grift purposes, and that to me is amazing. You know.
I know.
I just wonder, what is their objective? Like, okay, at this point, most people who have gotten the vaccine have got the vaccine, and people are going to watch that. What are they going to do? They can't suck the vaccine out of their veins. It's already there.
Oh, no, you can buy products for like $49.99 that will take the vaccine. Yeah, take it out of your arm.
Oh,
yeah.
That's bullshit.
You'll shit it out or something. It'll be fine.
Yeah, I just don't understand what the point is.
So much better with the
sound.
sound.
No one's on the fence now about the vaccine. Anyone who has either gotten it has gotten it. Anyone who hasn't has decided
we're all
they're
settled.
not getting it.
5.
Well,
So,
you know what I noticed? I don't know if you guys know this. I got 3. I don't know if you guys notice this too, but every person that puts those videos out in their bio, I always check the bio and the first like 5 tweets in their timeline. I could be bothered to go through the timeline.
Yeah.
But you got to do it. I mean, and
You
people
have
are
to.
like, and then when you're like, hey, nice timeline, they're like, you're stalking me. And you're like, here we go, you fucking losers.
Yeah.
So, but invariably, Scott, in all of their bylines, to your answer is to the motivation, because people who are vaccinated and they're not fucking, they're okay with it because they're fine and the vaccines are not death. Just they aren't. And the people who aren't getting vaccinated still aren't vaccinated. But in the bio of every single one of these people that puts out these videos or like retweets in them, it's like, Pfizer lied, people died, like all those people.
Yeah.
Invariably, I see one of 3 to 4 things: God,
Yeah.
Lord and Savior,
Mhm.
Jesus Christ,
MAGA.
conservative, Trump, MAGA. You
Mhm.
see a lot of support for Putin. You see a lot of support for Russia, the little Russia flags. It's strangely, I have yet to see anybody who's not that person go, my vaccine injury's out of control. You got to see this.
Yeah.
Or my cousin died, which is always the best. Like, it's my cousin and 5 guys I know died. And you challenge these people like I did on the weekend, because I put out a video that may or may not have ruffled some feathers, and I did it on purpose. But they're like, fuck you. You don't know 5 guys at my work died. And I'm like, where do you work? What are their names?
Yeah,
let's
prove it.
let's give them the credit that they deserve for, doing the right thing and dying. That's great. And it's like, fuck you. I'm not telling you that. And it was the same with everybody. Like every single bio was the same. Every single person was the same, where they're like, my aunt's cousin's sister's brother, her fucking head fell off. And you're like, whoa, can you do me a favor and send me the name and the news story
Got
on
a
that?
pic?
A vaccine where someone's head falls off, that's fucking front page news. And the person's like, you'll see it on Druthers. And I'm like, oh, okay. You mean the same people that have been telling everybody that 100 doctors are dropped dead from the vaccine, by the way? Ashley Stewart from Global News, she did an entire thread on it today. It's fucking brilliant. Not only are none of these people COVID dead, a lot of them are still alive. Some of them killed themselves. Some died in car accidents. One died climbing K2. One drowned. 5 had heart attacks. 6 died by suicide. Others battle with ongoing abrupt illnesses. And not one of the family members contacted in this Druthers article, where 80 Canadian MDs are vaxxed and dead. Not one of them was like, yeah, he died because he got vaccinated. You're right. They were all like, fuck off, we're grieving. And you're wrong. So in it is all the lie. I mean, it's fucking, and it's the same bio, the same reasoning. It's like, how do we keep all of Canada, all of North America on the defensive? You don't have to be. You can mock these people openly and their vaccine shaky videos. You can mock them when they say someone dies. Ask them where their fucking dead relative worked. Ask them what time they died.
I want
them
receipts.
to send you the obituary. Fuck, I've even asked for a fucking autopsy report. Where last week some guy's like, my kid died. And I'm like, okay, that's weird that you just sent me that and told me to fuck off. And then sent me like a whole bunch of articles about mRNA vaccines, but no picture of your kid. Send me a picture of this beautiful son of yours that passed away. Fuck you. I'm not sharing that information. Like, of course you're not, because it never fucking happened, right? Like, it never fucking happened. Anyway, we live in that world, and I actually kind of enjoy it. Scott, you were going to say something.
Yeah, sorry. So, I do understand vaccine hesitancy, and I do understand vaccine fatigue that people are going through right now. I do want to say, Dean, when I first came on your show, I did mention that I did have a negative reaction to the vaccine later after taking it. So my body did have an immune response, and I ended up having to get my appendix removed. So it was probably already somewhat infected or
already shitty
infected. But the doctor ended up saying, after the follow-up, because I asked her, I'm like, is this a possibility? She did say, there is a possibility, because the idea of the vaccine is that it gives your body an immune response. And so if, my appendix ended up having to be taken out, and it just happened, a month after I did have the vaccine. And so there is a little possibility for that. And that's what I experienced, where, I did have an immune response. My appendix had to be taken out. It probably would have had to be taken out anyways later down the road, but the vaccine kind of sped that up as my body had that initial immune response.
Same thing happened. Look at my blood clot, right? Like my blood clot happened unprovoked, no reason for it. You know, like there was no, they did all the tests and the screens for all the usual suspects. None of them came up. So the first thing that went through my head as a pro-vaccine supporting guy was, shit, could it have been that vaccine? And I asked the doctor, I said, is that a possibility? They said, well, of course, anything's a possibility. We'll do some tests. So they did some tests. They went, no, it wasn't the vaccine. You are one of the small minority of people who had an unprovoked, unknown cause blood. That's why I'm on blood thinners for the rest of my life now, is just in case it happens again, right?
Didn't they say your blood type is cheese?
They said gravy and whiskey. Positive. Gravy, whiskey,
cheese,
positive.
Gravy, whiskey, clots, bud. I did too. I had brain fog for like 3-4 months. Went back to the doctor. He's like, it's going to go away. And I'm like, hard for me to formulate thoughts, hard for me to fucking, sit down and do some work. And he's like, it might be, but you know what? It's a good chance it is. And it's just an adverse reaction.
Yeah.
But people are calling them intentional injuries, which they are not. And that was my entire fucking point. These aren't weapons. Like, they're fucking vaccines, and vaccinology has been around for like 300 fucking years, and adverse reactions has been around for 300 fucking years. And general public gets that, right?
And I think we forget about how far we've come in our society now, because things didn't really get going until the vaccines started getting out there, right? Like we would still be kind of where China is now had our vaccines not been as good as they are, and stuff like that. So, I think it's easy in hindsight to go, well, maybe COVID wasn't so bad for some people, and maybe not everyone needed the vaccine. But I know that there's a lot of people. My wife's 100-year-old grandmother was vaccinated, got COVID twice, and lived through it. And so a lot of us think,
that'll tell you something.
if she didn't have the vaccine, she probably would have passed away the first time. And so,
for sure,
I think it depends on the person. But anyways, Diener, I got to go, brother. I got to go get my kids from school.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I forgot. You got the kids.
I got to pick up my son and tell him what a great job he did.
Tell him his artwork is excellent. By the way, I don't know if you saw this, Linz. You weren't on the show when he showed us his son's artwork. The Canadian shield looks specifically like a wiener with balls, but don't mock the kid's artwork. It's brilliant.
Wow.
We told him it was a great job.
That's a hog.
Well done.
That's a Canadian hog.
On the fridge?
But the Canadian shield has small nuts. I would just like to make the nuts a little big. You know what you need to do? Get in there with some more blue, make the balls a little bigger on the Canadian shield to get it.
Help them out.
Scotty, hot wallet.
That's what happens after the vaccine. It's misshaped, obviously.
Right.
Also, Dean, I do want to say Tesla beat on earnings.
Did they?
Tesla had positive earnings. The stock is up after hours.
So there you go.
Buy the dip, everybody. Buy the dip. I'll see you later.
Hot Wallet, the name of the pod. Go and sub to it everywhere. Scott Trades on Twitter. Give him a follow. Stockmarketmentor.com. Tremendous educator. It's what he does, and I love having you on the show.
Great podcast.
Thanks, guys. Cheers.
Talk to you soon.
Nice to meet you, Paulie.
Oh, what did you say? Sorry, we cut you off. What did you say?
Oh, I just said nice to meet you, Paulie.
Oh, nice to meet you too, brother. You take care.
All right.
Bye. Nice little community of people.
Isn't it though?
All we do is
so friendly.
We do is help. I know. All we do is help.
We're a community that takes care of one another.
Aren't we?
Okay, let's not get weird about it now.
Paul likes to get weird. Paul likes to get all like emotional and empathetic and have these deep conversations.
Was it Christoph Waltz? Christoph Waltz. Let's not start sucking each other's dicks here. Let's just move on.
That's not going to happen, sir.
Well, I know it's not going to happen because I've seen yours, Paul, because you sent me a naked picture of yourself.
Holy fuck!
I'm not even capable of. I wouldn't even be capable. I wouldn't have the skills or the interest. I have no interest in that. But it looks like a
capacity.
That's all I'm saying.
It's a capacity issue.
Yeah, I don't have capacity for. I don't have the bandwidth.
It's like trying to put a banana milkshake in a shot glass. It's just not going to work out really well for anybody. It's going to be a big mess. It's going to be
a milkshake in a shot glass.
It's going to be screaming.
I'm not
crying.
Interested. Nope, not interested.
Tears and cum. It's going to be
tears when I saw it. I was like, that's a shame. That's what that is. Great to see you guys. Make sure if you don't subscribe to Paul's podcast, you have to. You got a couple of them. Of course, the True North Eager Beaver podcast, wherever you get your fine podcast, Mr. Grizzly. and Mr. Beaver, the day's political news, and they also do 3 morning shows a week, including one on Friday. I think you do Monday, Wednesday, Friday. But where else? Where can we get your ASMR and your jazz cast? And why haven't we added the jazz podcast yet?
I don't know. If you want to add it, let's
send
add
it to Chris. Yeah. Send it to Chris.
Okay. So, ASMR is. I have my own YouTube channel. Polly's World is my YouTube channel. You can find it there. I do an ASMR every 9 p.m. every Monday at 9 p.m. So it's just a mental health chat, and I do it in a soft spoken voice so that you can relax and feel better.
I'm already hard.
Yeah. I mean, there's no way I'm relaxing during that.
No, not at all.
Don't wear sweatpants if you're going to possess ASMR.
If you're going to listen to it while shopping, don't wear sweatpants. You might get kicked out of Sobeys.
Yeah. Why do you have a boner, sir? I love cheese, and I'm listening to Paul.
Fucking love cheese.
I love Gruyere, and I'm listening to Paul. Thanks, Paul. And the jazz podcast, obviously, we're going to add that, so let's get that. But True North Eager Beaver, ASMR, go to @Polly's World on YouTube or in his Twitter feed for more information. And, of course, Ryan with the Lens Report started a new gig, but he is a fucking weapon. Why do you have that look on your face?
I've been so lazy. I haven't been lazy. It's just we've been so busy with the wine festival work.
Wrap up.
Back in the back end with Marmy, Chris, and I. So once the voiceover, which should be done this week, the new Lens Report will be out this week. I promise. It's just a matter of I only have one microphone, one mouth. You know what I mean? I just don't have the time. So
I know
you need more mics, buddy. You need more mics.
I'll get Ashley.
I don't think he does. I got mic envy already, Paul. So stop it.
There we go. There's 3 right there. There's 3 more over there.
Yeah. You don't have to pimp.
Are you sponsored by Rode by any chance?
I'm working on it.
Is that why you have a big Rode sign next to your head now?
Actually,
all the time?
that is to cover up because there's a glare that comes right off this. It's super bright and it's really annoying.
Brilliant way to market.
Yeah, because now it's definitely not fucking distracting at all.
Yeah, you know what they owe us, actually? Microphones. Just because of that.
They kind of do.
Microphones. Yeah, they kind of do. We're going to talk to Rode, too. But thanks, boys. Great to see you both. And we'll chat with you in the coming days. As always.
Ciao, boys.
See you.
Sounds good.
Talk to you soon. Paul Atkinson, Ryan Lindley, my friends. Your friends, too. Thanks, everybody, for being part of the show. Really appreciate it. What's that? You okay? You just pop in, pop back out again? All right, Paulie. All good, buddy. Want to thank the people that make this possible, including our friends at Cantor. Colin Livingston and his group own Canada's finest assembly tool plant, and it is in Edmonton, Alberta, Edmonton, Ontario. Look at me. And they make rugged, hardworking, beautiful torque wrenches nobody makes. Custom solutions from a Canadian manufacturer of the best hardworking, rugged, beautiful torque wrenches in the world. Do you do loosening and fastening in the railroad, nuclear, mining industry? Are you in heavy equipment and you're like, fuck, I just can't get the right tool for this job. I need one that works. That's what they do, but they do it for people around the world, and they do it all from Canada because they are Canadian and very proud of their Canadian manufacturing. So make sure you get in contact with my friends at Cantor. Colin Livingston is the principal there. He's just a beauty. Races with Alex Tagliani. He's a dude's dude, but he gets things done, and he is all about solutions in that industry for torque wrenches. So make sure, no matter the scale of your bolting project, fastening project, loosening project, they've got your solution. Go to cantorque.com today. Super simple. How about our guys at Kiv Law? Rob Kivlikin. Robert at kivlaw.ca. That's his email address, robert at kivlaw.ca, KIVLAW.ca. Are you up against it with a legal issue? If you are, you're in Southern Ontario. This is your fella. This is your group. You want to get your life back. You don't know anything about criminal defense law. You need help 24/7. He knows his clients need honest answers. Rob Kivlikin is the best criminal defense attorney on the planet, and he's in Southern Ontario. And if you're looking for somebody that needs to help you out of a jam and you got into it, or you're accused of doing something you didn't do, anything, doesn't matter what it is, that's your first phone call. Guaranteed. You know, all you got to do is send him an email. He'll get right back to you. Robert at kivlaw.ca. Kivlaw Defense Lawyers. The best in Southern Ontario. And last but not least, Ed. Ed's Fine Imports. His Gitch. I wear them. You should wear them too. You really should. What are they all about? Great question. Luxury branded boxer briefs, pouch in the front, no piling. That's what they do better than anybody in the world. And I'm so proud of Canada. And I'm so proud of the fact that he makes his underwear in Canada. That is the only underwear I buy. I send my friends these underwear. Boxer briefs, tons of colors. top prospect, premium soft stretch. Doesn't matter. Look at that. Look at that. Your stuff goes in the middle and they fit you perfectly. And the waistband is second to none. They last longer than any underwear I have ever bought in my life, and they have never lost their stretch. Go to Ed's Fine Imports. Free shipping on all orders over $75. They ship anywhere in the United States and in Canada. And he will send you a pair of these underwear. They're game-changing. Get 3. That's your promo code. He'll send you a free pair when you use it. You can check out. Go to edsfineimports.com. Clothing for men and boys. That's it for us. Thanks so much for being here. Really appreciate it. Have a great day. Thanks to Marianne. Thanks to Paul. Thanks to Ryan. Thanks to Scotty. Thanks to you, most of all, for joining us and spending your time with us. I say it all the time. Giving us your time is always very humbling. And we love that you spend it with us. Subscribe to our podcast on YouTube, Dean Blundell Show, Twitch TV, Dean Blundell TV. And, of course, anywhere you get your fine podcasts, Amazon, Google, Spotify, Apple, etc. Have a great day. See you tomorrow. Bye.